How y'all doing?
All right. How are you, Coach?
Doing great.
Coach.
They're doing great. I mean, our training staff is awesome. I mean, they've done a great job getting, where KJ's at right now. Obviously, Randy and Billy have been over there. Been going over there a couple times. I'm glad I'm not over there, how hard they've been working. So I think they're right on track, and we want those guys for week one. That's what we're aiming for.
Coach Damari Mathis, he's been making plays throughout training camp so far. What have you noticed his progression from mini camp, even OTAs to now?
Well, when they first got out here, they didn't know what was going on, and he played a lot of press. So we kind of had to transition him from being off coverage and kind of learning those techniques. And he's really picked those up really well. I mean, he made awesome interception yesterday, cutting across the field. It wasn't just the technique, but just that extra effort to continually trust himself and run underneath the ball. So that was great to see. So he's just picking it up. It's a little different for him, just because of how he's played in the past, but he's picking it up really well.
What are you seeing from Darby in this camp, Ronald?
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't go against him at all in OTAs, and now he's out there. I want to say we're really glad to have him. It's a pain going after him every day, but both those corners are doing a great job. He's a real smart. He's a veteran. He's a guy that, another guy that doesn't panic, that plays his technique and challenges the guys. So very excited for him.
Could you go through again why you decided to move Browning to the outside, and how has he been doing as you've seen him a couple weeks here?
Yeah, I think, just kind of evaluating him when we were in the offseason, seeing just kind of his body type, watching some of his bend and how he played. Thought that, in this league, it's about getting to the quarterback first and foremost. You can never have too many rushers. So I think that we wanted to see what it looked like when he was down there. We had tape of him at inside linebacker, and we're like, hey, let's just give it a shot, see what happens. And I think for us, watching him play that position has been definitely even better than we thought. We kind of had a feel that he might be good there, but his ability to bend, his ability to anchor, just being able to shut that edge off. But, in the end, he had a couple moves early when we first got pads on some up and unders that were just unbelievable. So watching him kind of progress, shows us that, our kind of those natural instincts, because we didn't know. You never really know. It was kind of an experiment, and I think he's really embraced it and likes it too. So it's fun to see him there.
Nathaniel, Calvin Anderson was saying that you guys as a coaching staff are good at kind of explaining the why of things without players having to ask, just kind of doing it unprompted. So for you as a coach, why is it important to kind of explain to this generation of players why you do everything that you guys do?
Yeah, I look back to when I saw my dad install the first time, and it was something that I had never experienced before. When he got up there, he made a picture on a wall come alive. It was unbelievable. And that was kind of one of those things you all of a sudden realize it's not just why, but it's almost feeling yourself running across the paper, or for offensive line running a block. And so I think that it's not necessarily the generation because it's been going on for a while. I think it's just something that we really, really push here. We don't want them just to run a play because we said it. We don't want them to just, everybody always says run through that wall. We want them to think about running, how they're going to run through that wall efficiently. And so watching every single thing that we do, it's, hey, this is plays for this. This is for this. What is a priority of why we're trying to call it, so they understand if we don't get that, then it sucks and we better do something else. So I think that's what you're always aiming for, because that's when they start owning the system, when they know the ins and outs and they're calling out for plays. Hey, I've got this technique, I got this. Can we run this? And it might be something we missed, and that's us working together and gaining an advantage.
Coach, what do you expect?
Tomorrow, what do you want to see out of the guys tomorrow before the off day?
Gosh, I want another day like yesterday. I thought there was a lot of good stuff. There was explosive plays. The defense was making good plays. There was good runs. There was defense, getting some tackles for losses. Josie had a great tackle. Just that reaction fast, feeling fresh, feeling that pop full speed. I think that's what you're always hunting for when you get pads, and that's why we do this. We want to be sure that we get every single thing we can out of these pad practice, because they're just so few.
Hey, Coach, have you always been a hugger, and why is that so important to make that connection with your...
Yeah, been a hugger since I was born. I think I came out trying to hug the nurse. It's one of those things. It's just who I am. I got it from my grandma. She was the same way. My mom, and I just, that's how I grew up. And I'm not going to change. I'm going to be me. And it throws the guys off at first, because you come in hot. But it's just, hey, it's me.
Why is it so important, though, to make that connection with today's players?
First and foremost, it's just who I am as a hugger. But, I think that in general, whether you're a hugger or not, because you don't have to be a hugger to gain a connection. But I just think that in the end, it's about relationships. It's about, you ask these guys to do so much, work so hard, work every day, love the game, study the game. And, you want them to do that for themselves, but for their whole team, for their coaches, for everybody. And I think the better relationship you have with them, the more they'll open up, the more they'll talk to you, the more you can figure out problems. And all those things are positive to get them to play better on game day. And that's what we're aiming for. I want to see them successful out on that field any way I can get that.
Coach, why did
For
you
a few
kind of
more for the coach?
why did you flip the regen day and because I thought you were saying it was every third day that you were dialing it back.
So really, you can't. We have 6 days to practice without that. Then you get to that off day. So we want to go heavy as much as we can. That's why we go 4 days of pads. So the way to be able to work it in is getting a moderate, then going to heavy, and then you get in that. Once you get that off day, now you got to try to get 2 more days, and you don't want to go with a regen into that that off day. So really thinking through the whole thing, it's about what we can do to make those hard practices the most efficient and best that they are. So that's why we put those in between there. And then mentally, this was unbelievable. Another good day. I give so much credit to those guys because it's new for them. But it's when you see the players start correcting or self-correcting or communicating and wanting another play, that's what you're aiming for as a coach. So we got a lot out of today.
Coach, when do you expect?
You've had OTAs and mini camps. You've only had 9 days of training camp, but you've been around the game for a while. When do you start to get a sense for what you got, what you have?
I want to say I feel like I've got a pretty good feel right now, but that would be, that'd be, feeling a little too confident. I think that in the end, Richard Mann used to tell me, a guy that mentored me when I was younger, he'd always say everything changes when those people get in the stands. So you could see all this, you could see the practice, you could see all those things, and there's some guys, they call them gamers, all those things. They just they come alive or they sink. So I think that for the guys, and it'll be a challenge. I'm very excited for the first preseason game because the same thing. It's just watching them, how they react. Is it just like when we're out at practice, or is it different when it's a game? So I think that's when you start really finding out as you go through more games with the guys.
Coach, when do you expect K'Wan Williams to be back out here?
Yeah, all the guys have been working in. We want to be so careful, especially with some of the older guys, and make sure that they're brought back in the fold the right way. He's such a valuable person for us, going against him and the things he's done. So we're just going to work him back in the right way and just continually, rehab him and make sure he's good. But we're hoping sooner than later.